leaving my job. Well, I guess technically I got fired. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title, today's video is going to be a life update. I've never done one of these before. I've never been so open and willing to kind of like share what's been going on in my life, but I figured I might as well do that since I haven't been on YouTube in a while. I did get some messages during this time of people asking me like, are you done with YouTube? Are you still gonna post? Like, I believe in you, keep going. So thank you guys for all the kind messages that I got. I'm back. I took some time to kind of reset and focus on my spirituality, my mental health, my education, and my professional life. So those are all things that I really wanted to pour into. This journey that I've been on hasn't always been easy, but it's definitely been worth it. With that being said, let's get right into the video, okay? For the people who know me, know that I'm a Cali girl. I love Cali down. SoCal to be specific. I moved to Texas from California. Since I've been in Dallas, a lot kind of happened. I was working at the time. No, I was not working. Rewind, my bad. I'm gonna start with last year. Part of my journey included me leaving my job. Well, I guess technically I got fired. So that's not funny. Like, that's not funny at all. Honestly, it was something that was like a blessing in disguise because I was like praying hard and long on it. I was praying hard and long on what my next step was going to be because I was very unhappy and unfulfilled with the job that I was doing. And I felt like God was calling me to something else and to like pull me out of that. Things were happening at work to where it was like, okay, like this is a sign, this is a sign. But I wasn't acting, I wasn't moving on the signs that God was sending me. I feel like part of that was God kind of forcing me to make that choice, and that's why I call it a blessing in disguise. I just kept trying to hold on, even though I knew it was time for me to transition into something else. So the end of 2024, I was preparing for 2025. I wanted to really make sure I was getting very serious and intentional about how I was moving, what I was doing, and the route that I was going to take. I know that like as adults, it's easy to like let life get in the way of like prioritizing self, and those things are all very important. I made lists for myself of things that I wanted to work on so I can know who I am through and through and continue to heal from things that have hurt me, grow into the woman that God is calling me to be. So y'all, once this happened, I started to change a lot about my life. The first change I started with is my hair. Now y'all know how like in movies, like when something happens to someone that is either traumatic or life-changing, or like they're deciding to do something different with their life, the first thing they do is like cut all their hair off, dye their hair, or do something. So I'm like, okay, we'll start with that. I'm gonna cut my hair. So one day I just woke up. This was probably like a week or two after I had gotten fired from my job. I woke up and I was like, you know what? It's time for a haircut. You know, and my hair honestly has been thriving. It's grown a lot since I cut it, and my curls are really popping. Okay. But yeah, I ended up cutting like 3.5 to 4 inches off of my hair, and I just did it impulsively. It made me feel so happy and free. You guys would think cutting your hair, it's like, oh, it's just cutting your hair. But no, it was like the beginning of a new life for me. It's crazy because I really feel like I cut off negativity. I was ready for something new. So my hair was thriving. Maybe I'll like insert some photos or something, but my hair has been thriving since I cut it. I've been taking very good care of my hair. I've put heat on my hair probably like once since I've cut it, and I have been kind of like maintaining it and trimming it, and I cut it myself too. And I remember after I cut it, I immediately asked my mom like, oh, like, what do you think of my hair? And she's like, why did you cut your hair? You look like Dora. But it did not hurt my feelings. I didn't take offense to it at all. It is what it is. She's my mom. I love her and she loves me. Whatever. She told me how she felt about it, told me I shouldn't have cut my hair, but that didn't put it in my confidence at all. I kept it pushing, and I'm like, I love my hair. Nobody can tell me nothing, and I feel fantastic. So that was the first step. Around this time, I also started to be more consistent with church. I started to make sure I made it to church every single Sunday. If I wasn't there in person, I was tuning in online, and that is still true to this day. I'm a Christian. If you guys don't know, I am a Christian. I am a follower of Jesus Christ, okay? Yes, I'm a woman of God. I have been very, very dedicated to focusing on my spirituality and making sure I elevate my connection with God. In doing that, I started to study scripture a lot more. I try not to ever miss a day of including God in my day. Being intentional with that has really made me a better person, all in all. And it's pretty much any conversation that I'm having. Subconsciously, I'm always thinking, like, what would Jesus do, pretty much? And I try to go into everything with that mentality, because I don't want to be like a negative person or dark cloud in anyone's life. And I don't want to be that for myself either. I want to shine my light wherever I can. That's what I started to do as I grew my knowledge of scripture, as I grew my connection with God, and as I started to be in community with like-minded individuals who also are followers of Jesus Christ. So I can say that that was something that really, really, really sparked a change in my life and my perspective of life altogether, and has made me a better woman all around. I can't even explain it. I wasn't that far gone, but I could have been more grounded, and I'm very, very grounded and at peace now. I feel like I'm at the most peaceful state in my life at this moment. So yes, that really, really helped me. Another thing that I started to do, which I was already doing as well, was I started to really lock in with my educational journey. I just graduated with my Bachelor's of Science in Public Health. I was kind of like confused about what I wanted to do, if I wanted to continue, what route I was going to take, if I was going to use my degree, all of those things. But I'm like, whether you're going to use it or not, you know that you set out to do this and finish what you started. I've never been the type of person to quit. I'm not a quitter. I finish what I start, and I did exactly that, and I graduated with Latin honors, actually, cum laude. Congratulations to anybody who graduate college, do something hard, and keep at things that aren't easy. Kudos to you. When I was in school, I decided that I wanted to join a sorority, and what sorority is better than the first and the finest? I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and I was initiated in spring of 25. And I'm happy about the choice that I made. I did it with the intent to grow my professional network and kind of be surrounded by women who were like-minded and, you know, were intentional about their education and the connections that they were making with other women and the environment that they put themselves in. So I would encourage anyone who wants to join a sorority to do it. I would, you know, my suggestion would always be AKA, but you know, whatever floats your boat, babe. Now that I am no longer a part of undergrad, I am transitioning into the next phase of my life, which is career, grad school, and all of that. So I will be looking for like a grad chapter. So another thing that I really told myself I was going to do was practice discipline, financial discipline to be specific. I had lost my job, so I wasn't making money, but I wasn't broke either. So it's like I'm figuring out my finances at this point in time too. So it's like it would be irresponsible of me to continue to spend on things that I don't need. I told myself, you're not shopping at all. I used to shop a lot. I like thrifting. I like shopping for the house. I like all of that. I like the finer things in life, and I'm a vintage girl. That's what I am. Shopping is something that was like therapy to me. Anytime I felt sad, happy, wanted to celebrate something, shopping was like the key and the remedy. But it was like, you have to figure out other ways to spend your time and save your money. You have to be a good steward of the blessings that God has already given you or allowed you to experience in life to continue to receive blessings. So it was very important to me to be a good steward of my finances. Throughout this whole time of being off of YouTube, I also started to practice a lot of discipline with social accounts. Yes, I still have my Instagram account activated. Yes, I have posted here and there. I set a timer on my Instagram about 15-20 minutes a day. Being on social media was a distraction to me, all in all. So I wanted to eliminate distractions so that I can really stay grounded and focus on myself and what I needed to. You can kind of get off track when you're so focused on what's going on in other people's lives, and that's not what I ever want to do. So of course, with growth and blessings comes challenges and the enemy trying to trick you into thinking that you're not doing the right thing or that you're on the wrong path. So throughout this entire time that I've been really working on myself and just finding myself and discovering the path for me, I have experienced quite a bit of challenge, I would say. I'm gonna share what I feel comfortable with, so just bear with me, okay? I never introduced him on the channel, but I was gifted a blue brindle cane corso on my 23rd birthday in 2023, June of 2023. My birthday is June 4th. So around this time, I knew I was getting the dog, but it was my birthday gift. It was a planned birthday gift. And I love him so much. Anybody who knows me knows that West is his name, knows that West was my child. I took him everywhere with me. If you saw me at the grocery store, he was there. If you saw me at the mall, he was there. If you saw me at the movies, he was there. He was everywhere with me. He was like my little personal bodyguard, which is part of the reason why I had him. He was healthy, doing great, all of that. And earlier this year, he started to get sick. He was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease known as MMM, which stands for masticatory muscle myositis, which basically means that the autoimmune system attacks the facial muscles to a state of paralysis if it isn't caught in time. Luckily, we were able to catch it in time to where he was on a treatment plan. It can go away, but it can also come back, and there is no specific like onset. In his case, the vet did tell us that we caught it at a good time and in an acute phase so that he would still be able to heal from it and get better and to a possible state of full recovery. It was noticeable that he had this disease when he was playing with his ball one day and couldn't open his mouth anymore. So he ended up going to the vet, and that's when they confirmed the diagnosis, and we started treatment plan, which consisted of steroids to kind of build some of that muscle mass back, but it does it at a very fast pace, so there was muscle waste happening as well. So the physical structure of his face started to look different to the eye too. So he started to lose muscle mass in his face, and you know, cane corsos are known for very, very large heads. So he started to drastically look different. He was losing a little bit of weight. He was around 138 when he was very, very healthy, and he was 2 years old when he was diagnosed with this. So once he got on treatment, he immediately started to do a lot better. He was opening his mouth a lot more. He was chewing just fine. He was playing with his toys again. However, there was still a limited range of motion in his jaw mobility. So with that being said, there were certain things that we would just have to look out for when it came to what he's eating or like what he's playing with and, you know, his tendencies. I was out one day and I got a call. I got several missed calls and text messages that he was sick, and I'm thinking, like, how is he sick? You know, like, he's been doing great. MMM is not necessarily a fatal disease as long as it's caught in time, right? So again, we didn't think anything would cause him to become very, very sick as he was on treatment. So he was chewing on a bone and ended up getting the bone stuck in his throat, in which he was taken to the emergency vet, and they were able to put him under anesthesia and remove the bone. He was totally fine after. He was happy. He was back to himself again. The next day is when things started to take a turn for the worse. It was discovered that he had swallowed a piece of the bone, in which it punctured his GI system and caused internal bleeding, which led to him bleeding out. So West is no longer with us, unfortunately, and I can say that that was probably like the most traumatic thing I've ever experienced in my life. I've experienced loss to a certain degree of people around me being very, very, very close to people and losing that person. And I may have known of that person, but never like a close relationship with him. And this was like the first loss that I've ever experienced in my life where it's like nobody understands. And it's hard to talk about because it's like he's a dog and not a lot of people understand. Like people who haven't necessarily had a close relationship with an animal or a pet or something outside of a human, it's hard for them to kind of understand grief in the sense that I'm experiencing it. And I won't say that I'm sad every single day or I don't know how to go on with my life. Like, that would be unreasonable because it's a part of life to experience loss. However, grief is very interesting to me, and it's something that I don't necessarily understand and I'm trying to understand. That really hit me hard, and it's something that I just continue to deal with, and I don't think it's ever going to go away because, again, I loved him like he was my child. He was my best friend, and the saying that dogs are a man's best friend, that's very, very true. Or a woman in my case. But yes, he was all of that for me. And I've gained a guardian angel because he's in doggy heaven now, watching over me, and he visits me in my dreams a lot. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And that's one of the parts that I'm still trying to understand, because it's hard for me to not accept that he's not here, but let go. Like, am I supposed to let go? Am I supposed to hold on? And that's what I've been battling between, because it's like, how are you supposed to let go of something that meant so much to you and had feelings and that you were connected to and is no longer here? And no longer here by choice, but due to the circumstance that he isn't here. Some days my grief looks like showing any and everyone photos of him. Like, I have him as my lock screen. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, like sometimes it looks like not wanting to like think about him at all because I know it'll make me sad. Sometimes it looks like just being sad all day, and some days it looks like being upset. I've actually considered starting therapy again. I was in therapy last year in 2024, and then I got to a point where I felt really good. And I'm like, you know what? I no longer need to talk to someone who tells me how to deal with situations and how to cope and healthy ways to go about things. I think I've gotten far enough to a point where I can just deal with it on my own and take it up with God. And that's what I've been doing. And I can still say that I'm genuinely still at peace and happy. I know that West is in a better place. I know that, you know, everything happens for a reason, and I know God has a plan moving forward. So whatever that is, I trust it. I have faith. You know, I believe in God, so that's what I'm going to continue to do. It's not about what I plan for myself, but what God's plan is for me, and I accept it. Even when it hurts, even when I don't want to, even when I don't understand. That's what faith is. So that was probably like the hardest thing that I've dealt with. On top of that, I have had a few, like, and I'm not going to go into detail about these things, but I've had a few falling outs with people who I thought would be in my life forever. People who, you know, were very, very close to me, and things change, people change, and so do feelings. That's life. It's all a part of life. I guess it's just growing pains, you know what I mean? Sometimes people grow apart, sometimes people outgrow one another, sometimes people are just on different paths, and that's okay. I found that, and this may sound a little corny, so don't laugh at me, but I found that poetry is like a really good outlet for me. If I'm on like social media, I try to stay on the conducive side of things where it's still kind of like personal development and growth. So I've found myself on the poetic side of social media these days, and it inspired me to kind of like put the pen to the paper myself. And your girl may be a poet. Like I might be onto something. Not even gonna lie, like for real. That may be something that I would possibly feel comfortable with sharing. It's been helpful, it's been liberating, and I feel good about what I've been able to come up with. So yeah, I've been spending so much time with my family and being intentional about the time spent with the people that I love the most and that love me the most. So that has been very regenerative, and it's been keeping my cup full for sure. So love that. My brother, him and his wife had a new bundle of joy in December. She was born December 3rd, and she is now 9 months, and I love her so much. I'm gonna insert photos of her too. She's perfect, and she's growing so fast, and I want her to stop growing already, but kids are like so adorable, and I do want kids myself, but once I'm married, I am just at a point where I am figuring out what's next. I have been making sure I stay in shape. That's why I am dressed in athletic wear now, because I have a workout for today. I'm just making sure I continue to prioritize the things that got me to this point. Moving forward, hopefully some apartment shopping content, moving, career, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Just know that whatever it is, it will be real. Maybe it'll be personal growth or just me being me. Whatever you're experiencing in life, whether it's a high or a low, everything is temporary. Life is fluid, change is inevitable, and trust in God and you will be okay. I promise. I'm still figuring out my life, and it's been a journey, and the journey continues always. So I'm grateful, I'm thankful, I'm blessed, and I thank whoever is tuning into this. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.